Hey, so today I just want to share another technique that I use in order to customize a boot in a more direct way. Now, the thing I love about this method is it is very accurate. It also doesn't affect the fit of your boots in any other way. And it's also a very simple and easy way to reshape your boot shells. Now, you may have seen my videos both on custom shell heat molding a boot and also on how to punch a boot. Now, this process is sort of blending them together, but being able to target just one singular spot on your boots. So the result you're going to get is going to be similar to the amount of reshaping that you can get from a custom shell heat molding. But the difference is when we're doing a full custom shell mold, we're actually putting the whole boot in the oven and heating it up. So that makes everything malleable and will expand in every area of the boot. And what we're doing different here is we're actually honing in on a single pressure point. So we're going to heat the boot up in a manner that's very similar to as if we were going to punch the boot, but instead of using a punching tool, we're actually going to use your foot as the press to do the reshaping. So this strategy can be used on any boot that has shell heat molding capability or any other modern boot that has some fairly thin shell walls. Now, what works best is really targeting the main points that need manipulation in a boot. So that is really the bony areas of the foot. They can all be solved really quickly by doing this technique. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is take your liners out of your boots. Then the other thing that really helps in this process is getting a bit of extra padding directly on the foot because it's going to help push the boot out. So here's a Patriot fit kit and you can find the appropriate piece of foam that you're going to place on your foot in the area that you're targeting. Okay, so for this example, I'm going to do this molding as if we're just targeting to gain a little bit extra space on the first metatarsal. So you can pick the little piece of foam out and stick it on to the area that you're looking to get a bit more space. Now, this also works to the other areas of the foot. So also you can get the foam on that targets the ankle, the navicular, the fifth met, or the pinky toe. All will be able to quickly be manipulated. Now, one thing I do suggest here is don't directly heat mold your liner. Because we're really honing in and focusing on just one spot that's giving you a bit of curry, if you actually just have this padding, we mold the shell, the liner will bed in pretty quickly. So unless it's pretty severe that you're looking to heat mold the liner and the shell at the same time, but this works much better if you're just looking to do the shell and everything else will settle in because we're not looking to reshape other parts of your boot fit. Okay, and once you're happy with the position, you need to get your ski sock over the top and just be careful so it doesn't move once you're trying to get your sock on. Okay, and then we move on to using our heat gun to bring the shells up to temperature. Now, the beauty of this technique is when you're doing a punch, you really need to mark the spot and be very accurate. But because you've padded out the exact spot on your foot, you can't miss. So really what we're looking to do is heat the area. And you'll be heating the main zone that you think it is, but you also want to sort of feather out a larger area so you're going to be able to get that manipulation anyway. So you're really just heating the zone that you're looking to manipulate. Now, what you want to do with your heat gun is actually be quite careful. If you're too close, you can melt the plastic and you're trying to heat too quickly. We just want to keep it, I guess, around a couple of inches away from the boot and take your time to heat it slowly until it fully penetrates through the wall thickness of the boot. Now, you can check temperatures as you go. Most of these boots, if they hit about the 80 or 90 degrees Celsius, are going to be malleable, but I tend to not really bother with a thermometer. I just heat until I know the boot is going to be hot enough to get a reshaping. So I'll show you what I'm doing. It only takes a couple of minutes. Now, you always also want to keep the heat gun moving. I like to heat in a circular motion and then also feather in zigzags. It doesn't matter as long as that heat is constantly moving, so it's not all focused just in one spot. You also want to be pretty careful if there's any seams from multiple injections in boots, because that is a weak point. It's more a worry when you're punching the boot, When we're heat molding, it's not so much of a consideration, but just be conscious of what you're doing when you're heating the boot shell. Okay, so you know your boot's going to be ready when the heat has transferred right through to the inside. You basically shouldn't be able to touch the inside of this area of the boot and keep your finger on it because it's too hot. You can actually see that on this boot shell, I can push from the inside. You can see how soft and malleable it's become. So that is ready to step back into. Now, if you're heating correctly, it's not going to discolor, it's not going to bubble. And if you're going slowly with a little bit of skill, this isn't a hard process at all. Now, once it's ready, you're going to have to work really fast to get your liner in and then your foot in very quick. And if you're not as fast as manually putting your liners in, the other method that you can use is the World Cup method. So open your boot up, step down with your liner on, do your buckles up as quickly as you can. Now, a couple of flexes, a quick kick in the back, and a bit of pressure forwards on your shins. And then you're just going to stand in them for about 10 minutes until they cool down. The other thing that you can do is if you want to grab a bit of snow from outside, or if you want to grab your frozen veggies, you can cool it down a bit quicker. But I recommend just hang out, spend a bit of time in your boots, wait until this plastic cools and resets. Okay, and that is all there really is to it. A really simple and targeted way to get a little bit of reshaping out of your boots and keep your boot fit nice and precise. Now, if you are going to do this, obviously take a little bit of care with the heat gun. Possibly you should wear some gloves. I've basically melted my fingerprints off over the years, so I'm probably a bit used to it. But yeah, take a few precautions as you go, but this can be a really great way to fix a troubled hotspot that you may have. So thanks for watching, stay rad, be a patriot, have a sick season, and I'll catch you in the next one.